success of Israeli companies in cybersecurity can happen in the fields of secure identity and biometrics as well. In the next 30 minutes, you will get a glimpse of the Israeli innovation in those fields. Each one of them will represent himself.
Everybody hates passwords, except for hackers. They love them. And biometrics present a huge privacy risk for users and organizations alike. But the search for the perfect verification method is finally over. SignPass is proud to introduce the handwritten password. Simply write your initials or name, for example, on your smartphone screen using your finger and gain access to every imaginable service, web page, system, or app. All you need to do is register your password a few times. SignPass then analyzes hidden patterns in your movement that tell you apart from anyone else, creating a password that is easy to remember but impossible to steal. We did say it was the perfect verification solution. SignPass, reinventing passwords.
Hi. Hi.
Everybody.
Okay. Hi. Does this thing work? Does anybody hear me? Okay. So my name is Doron, and I'm from SignPass, where we reinvent the password, as the sign says. So after this panel, I really don't need to tell you why passwords are useless. Everybody knows that. That's the main thing about this convention. And again, these people, right, the experts explained much better than me why biometrics are not the answers. The biometrics, besides being very easy to penetrate and besides not being able to be replaced, are a huge privacy risk. And a privacy risk is a risk for both the users, but also for the organization. And people are starting to realize this now. And because if you lose a million passwords, that's a problem. But if you lose a million fingerprints, you're in problem. You're in a big trouble. So instead of talking about the problem, let's talk about the solution. SignPass presents the handwritten password. It's a password which you just sign with your finger on your smartphone from anywhere. Anywhere meaning that you can use it as a log for an app or something for a web page or an ATM or to identify for a call center or with your enterprise solutions. Because we use the cloud to authenticate your handwritten samples, usually I say to beginners, use your initials. This is a good thing for a password that you don't have to remember, and you cannot really forget, and you can't really forge. If I tell you my password is DT, which it is, you don't have any idea how it looks. Even if you know how it looks, you don't have a real chance of forging it. And that's because of the way we look at password, of handwritten passwords. We do not look at the shape of our handwritten password. We look at the way you sign it. Use time-based sampling to figure out hidden patterns in your movement. And we use no visual data. We do not transmit any visual data. We break down your samples into parameters, or what we call features of statistical significance, and we analyze you by the correlations between them. So what makes SignPass unique, except for our amazing solution, is the technology we use. We do not only use grading for each parameters that we use for a user. We look at each user as compared to the entire population and find out how this user is unique compared to everybody else in every aspect. Then we know how to measure this user. So every user is measured for a totally different set of parameters, making forgery and hacking almost impossible. Another big thing with SignPass is compliance and accountability. When you use something such as biometrics, you usually do not get the sample. You get a confirmation that the sample has met some standards. With SignPass, you can go back a year after to the sample and see why it passed. You can see the handwritten password and see, okay, it passed because it was similar enough, it passed because the system said so and so. You can look at the sample, and then you can provide compliance. The user is accountable for what he did. He can know he did this, this action, and he cannot be identified, and this is a big thing in the world of biometrics, he cannot be identified without knowing or against his will. He must be willing to identify in order to identify with SignPass. Also, because of our ability to analyze handwritten passwords, we can also give legal documentation for signatures, which is a byproduct of our technology. So basically, with SignPass, we believe we've created the best of both worlds. We've created a system with increased safety, but also that reduces friction. A system that is extremely secure. Again, we have a three-factor in one system. Something that you know, which is your password, something that you have, which is your phone or device you're using, and something that you are, which is the way you use your password. Again, we do not use any visual data, so even if you have a sample of my signature or handwritten password, you cannot use it trace. We do not look at image. We have created something which has a very natural process. Everybody knows how to write, at least everybody with a smartphone, except for my 6-year-old when she takes my smartphone, actually, but besides that. And it's a very natural process. Sign, write your initials, everything here is very natural, it's very unthreatening. And this password is also impossible to steal because we don't analyze visual data. We have no need to store it. We only store variation of statistical parameters. There is nothing to steal here. And every time you add a signature, the data we store on the user change because we only use ranges. There is no privacy compromise. We don't take anything that cannot be replaced. The way you write your initials is unique, but if you change the order of your initials, this is a totally different set with no privacy risks at all. This is impervious to social engineering because this is a two-way solution. You cannot compel a user to give you this data without his knowing, and it gets better every time you use it. Every time you add a sample to our system, this gets better. And the integration itself is effortless. We built SignPass for integrating with other systems. Oh, right on time. So thank you very much. And if you hadn't already, please come and see our demo at our booth. Thank you very much.